All right. What's up, everybody? Dan from Can You Take It?
Jonathan.
Got Jonathan here with me today. We're continuing our October horror movie marathon. Since the last video, I've watched one every day, so today we're going to do the reviews for the videos we've watched this week. So in the last video, you saw that Dustin was there with me. After we got done talking about the movies, we watched this classic, Stephen King's Sleepwalkers.
Stephen King.
I mean, during the 90s, you couldn't probably go a month without getting a Stephen King adaptation movie.
It's even got some sweet scratch font on there.
Yep.
Someone
It's
clawed their way
original
out.
font.
Yeah.
It's about this mother and son who are like cat people, and they need to suck the life force out of virgins to stay alive. They've been alive for a long time, and so
That old story.
it's, you know, it's an old fairy tale kind of thing. But it moves really quick. That's what I've always liked about this movie. It's kind of just like gets right into it, introduces the characters. Actually, it's got a lot of cameos. Mark Hamill, Clive Barker, Stephen King, Tobe Hooper. I also saw Stu Charno, who you may remember from Friday the 13th Part 2.
Yeah.
He's in it for a second. So you get a lot of cameos, and let's try to pronounce her name. Madchen Amick. Madchen Amick, the girl from Twin Peaks.
Twin Peaks, yeah.
And she's awesome. I think, you know, I've talked last week about Meridian with Sherilyn Fenn. I think me and David Lynch are on the same wavelength here.
Twin Peaks did a really good job on getting a lot of really pretty people
Yes.
for like that show.
All of them are gorgeous, and she's no exception. Good one. I recommend it. It's a fun one. Like I used to catch it on TV, TNT, something like that, and it would always hook me in.
Is there a Blu-ray release of this?
I don't believe there is, no. There may be. I haven't looked because I wouldn't buy it if it was. I'm not
Gotcha.
going to upgrade that one.
Yeah.
But fun one. Okay. Now we're going to get into something a little controversial here. Friday, Blair Witch Project. I saw this movie, 2003, after the theater. I never saw it in the theater. It never looked that good to
I
me.
was too busy watching Titanic with the ladies.
Well,
Yeah.
that was probably a smarter move. If you had seen this, you would have not scored that night, I can tell
Wait,
you
when
that.
did this movie come out?
99, I believe.
So I wasn't, but
I was a freshman in high school when it came out. Funny story about this is everybody was getting hyped. People were believing it. And I can remember my brother coming in and telling my mom that when you see someone die in the Blair Witch, they're dying for real. He was like, this is real footage. This is not a movie. And I was just looked at him like, shut the fuck up. Like, it's a movie. It's they wouldn't put it in the theater. So I remember it being kind of fun. Me and Adam watched it. I rewatched it, and I was really disappointed.
you were saying even Paranormal Activity, the first one,
I thought it was better.
better than Blair Witch.
Well, I mean-
in hindsight, when you like go back and see him again,
Yeah.
you're just like, it didn't age well.
Atmosphere-wise, yeah, it's creepy. They're in the woods. It sets up a creepy atmosphere, but it's not enough of a payoff. There is no payoff. Nothing happens. You never see anything happen. It's just arguing. It's an hour and a half of arguing about a map, and we're losing our minds. We're going crazy. I honestly in my head thought at the end you were going to see the witch or something get them. I remember seeing them, but it's not there. There's nothing. You see nothing done. It's over. Cooler thing about it is the documentary that pretends that it's real. They aired that on Sci-Fi Channel, and it pretends that the Blair Witch is a real thing, and it's kind of what got everybody scared before the movie came out. So I have a lot of respect for it in the history of horror films, but it just really doesn't do it for me. I like stuff to happen more, I guess, than this.
But you got the Blu-ray release, so you can get the highest quality of VHS possible.
They shoot at 8mm.
Oh, do they?
Yeah,
Okay.
they keep talking about it. If you're into filmmaking, it's fun because they talk about 16. She wants to shoot it. It's half 16, half 8.
Okay.
8mm video. So
Okay.
that's kind of an interesting thing. Next up is the Digibook release of King Kong. I love these digibooks. I really am a big fan of them. They just they treat the movie with a lot of respect, in my opinion, with the the book and the quality of it, it just makes it look nice on the shelf. It gives the movie a little more grandeur than a normal blue case. And
I think Warner has always been really good about
their
their
so
legacy
good.
films.
Yes.
You know?
They put a lot of detail into the classics. And for me, I don't know if there is another classic like this. This was the first movie that really I got so excited about. And there's more to that than just King Kong. My dad taped King Kong off of television, late night movie, and I used to watch it all the time. But in there was a commercial for a week of horror films that Channel 24 was going to be showing. Nightmare on Elm Street 1, Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Children of the Corn, Firestarter, and Chud. And it played the Talking Heads Psycho Killer song, the live version. So not only am I a huge King Kong fan, I'm a diehard Talking Heads fan now, and diehard Nightmare on Elm Street fan. So I think that commercial may have had an impact on me somewhere along the line.
And I love this movie for different reasons because I'm a huge stop motion fan.
Yeah, it's
and,
the best.
You know, and I worked my way backwards like Ray Harryhausen and then went back to King Kong.
It's a damn classic. I mean,
yeah,
it's
good.
so good, and getting it a restored version. I had the restored DVD where they put the scenes back in that they had cut out, where you have some people getting chomped and stomped on that they thought were a little too violent. So this ports over all of the features from the big DVD set, including the Peter Jackson remake of the famous Lost Bug scene. Mm-hmm. Which I'm not that big of a, it's like, it's cool that they recreated it, but, it's not that cool. The documentaries on here are great. If you have the DVD, I don't know if I would upgrade, though, because it's 1933. It's not that crazy of a picture jump. I mean, if you're hardcore detail-oriented, you'll definitely notice it. But I don't know that it warrants an upgrade other than to the packaging is cool, and if you're just a diehard fan, you got to have it. So... quick detail for all my collector fans out there. It's going to be hard to see, but Amazon shipped it to me all cracked and broken, and I know that happens with a lot of digibooks, and people send them back, but I tend to be too lazy, and I kept it anyway, but, Next up, this one got a Blu-ray release this week, The First Power, and I think a lot of people are like, how the hell did that get a Blu-ray release? But Scorpion Releasing, I believe, put this out. This is a underrated gem of the 80s. I love this movie. Similar Sleepwalkers, saw it on TNT or something like that late at night. It is Lou Diamond Phillips versus Satan, kind of. This guy, this killer. Look at him. He's really creepy looking. He looks like Richard Ramirez.
Mixed with Gary Busey. Doesn't
he
he kind of have a Gary Busey vibe going on?
He's creepy, man, and his voice is so creepy. He's a serial killer. He's a Satanist, and Satan grants him the power of resurrection. So he comes back and gets in people's bodies to hunt him and a psychic down to try to kill them. And you never know who he's going to pop in next. And it's just fun, great, 80s cheese. I love demonic movies. What are they called? Possession movies, stuff like that. This is a great one. Check it out. I found this at a video store going out, Hollywood Videos going out. Snapped it up for $1. One of the best dollars I've ever spent. Even my wife really loves this movie. It's just got a real good 80s charm to it. Lou Diamond, he had his day back in the 80s, but he's kind of lost a little steam. But I thought he did a good job.
He never bothers me, though.
No, I like him a lot. He runs around this movie with some cowboy boots on the whole damn time, chasing people, and it's like...
So he was playing Lou Diamond Phillips.
He was playing Lou Diamond Phillips. Yeah. He was playing his character from City Slicker, Young Guns.
Yeah.
His great-great-grandson, probably. Next up, Trick or Treat. This, I think, has become a staple for a lot of horror fans around the Halloween time of year. And for me, it's there as well. Love it. Love this movie. Probably one of the best horror movies to come out in the past 10, 15 years. Super fun, kind of creepy, cool effects, looks great. It's just a great movie. If any of y'all haven't checked this out, you got to get it. Trick or Treat is the quintessential new horror Halloween classic.
And weren't you saying, like, structurally it's kind of cool? It's like done in sections.
I kind of describe it like Pulp Fiction of horror movies, because you'll see characters that die at the beginning of the movie, and then as these other characters in the same town are earlier in the day doing their thing, you'll see those other characters alive again earlier in the day. So structurally, it doesn't follow an exact timeline.
And Anna Paquin for all the
Paquin,
the fans out there.
The vampire fans are going to get a little twist from Anna Paquin. She's not a vampire. Next up is one we could talk about. We could do a whole episode on this. The Night of the Hunter. This is a Criterion release. It came out in 1955, starring Robert Mitchum, Shelley Winters. I'm a huge Robert Mitchum fan anyway.
It's badass.
I love his noir movies, and this was one that I had seen on TCM years ago when Criterion put it out. I said, I got to get it, but it never comes down in price. It's always $35, and so during the last half-off sale, I think I snagged it for $20. And it's a great movie. It's so stylistic. It reminds me of silent films. They even have the opening is an aperture open, so you have the small circle like open. It's a 2-disc set. The second disc is an entire feature, pretty much, of it's called it's basically behind the scenes footage about the making of it, called Charles Laughton Directs, and it's 2.5 hours. This was the only movie he ever made. You'll remember him as the Hunchback of Notre Dame. As well, he was in just tons of classic films from back in the day. The original Mutiny on the Bounty with Clark Gable. So you guys have got to see this movie. It's 1955. It'll blow you out of the water. It's got like pretty, for the time, explicit like violence. He is a maniac. He's got love and hate tattooed on his hand, and so he's real creepy. And just as another nod to silent films, they cast what is her name? Lillian Gish from the silent era. So she's older in this, and they cast her in it as well, and she does a fantastic job. Super fun movie. Everyone would love this. Just great creepy one. Maybe not. Some people wouldn't consider a horror, but I would definitely consider it a creepy thriller. Next up, Hello, Mary Lou, Prom Night 2. This is a damn good movie. I know it sounds crazy. I know it does, but this is a test. I mean, this is kind of what we do at Can You Take It? It's a test. I'm watching one every night, so I'm kind of worn out on it. So if I watch one, and I've seen this one before, if I watch one and it is still good to me, like during this marathon, to me that's like a quality film because I'm so burnt out on it at this point.
Really, if anything, like captivates you for the entire film.
Yes,
it's a good movie.
It's so hard to do, and we'll get to one that completely failed to do that here in a minute. Prom Night 2. I doubt this had anything to do with the Prom Night original. I bet it was just called Hello, Mary Lou, and they slapped that on there. But you've got Michael Ironside from Scanners and The Next Karate Kid. We were talking about that movie the other day.
We've had too many Karate Kid discussions, really.
But he's in it, and basically we've got a 1950s prom queen. She was a little bit of a hussy. She gets burnt up at the prom, comes back in the 80s, looking for some revenge.
Not to be confused with Carrie.
Not to be confused with Carrie, although there's a ton of Carrie ripoffs in this. There's a ton of Nightmare on Elm Street ripoffs in this. There's Possession ripoffs in this. It's got so many genres in this film, and it's got a ton of inventive scenes. I told you about the creepy horse in her room that looks like a merry-go-round, and he comes alive, and he's like a demonic merry-go-round horse, and he's genuinely creepy. But just a fun movie. This is one everybody should check out. I think I bought it for $3 at Big Lots. $3 is well worth it.
I'm surprised you don't have a Prom Night box set that it goes in.
You know, I think Prom Night, the original, is owned by a different company, and I've never seen the sequels. There's a 3 and a 4, and there's a double pack. I need to get it. I've always kind of wanted it, never have. Side note, of the films this week, this does contain the most gratuitous nudity, so that was a plus. The nude scene stuck out in my mind the first time I saw it. Rewatching it again, it's ridiculous. This is the most ridiculous nude scene ever, but check this one out, guys. Prom Night 2, pretty fun. So last night, I mean, I'm kind of burnt out. My wife bought me this and its sequel for my birthday, and that's House and House 2. House 2, I wanted based off a recommendation from Comic Book Girl 19. She said it was awesome. I'd take her opinion. I want to check it out. But she got me the first one too. And this movie stars William Catt, who you may remember as Greatest American Hero. Believe it or not.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, he's in it. He's about the only person in it. There's some other side characters. George Wendt was the big guy on Cheers.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. I know who George Wendt is.
And Richard Mole, the big guy from Night Court, played Bull. And
I don't know that.
That's about it. It's directed by Steve Miner. He did Friday 2 and Friday 3.
Mm-hmm.
He did Halloween H2O. And he did this. This was produced by the same guy that created Friday the 13th, Sean Cunningham. And the score is done by Harry Manfredini, the same guy.
Yeah.
It sounds identical. It's like he didn't even write a new score. It's like he just ripped the same music off for this movie. Written by Fred Decker, who genre fans know, Monster Squad and Night of the Creeps. Those movies are awesome. This one, I think, was intended to be a short film that Fred Decker wrote, and they turned it into a feature. And it's not there. It just doesn't have enough material to keep you interested. It's this dude running around the house, a couple of cool effects.
So have you watched House 2 before? You haven't watched it yet.
I haven't seen it yet, no.
So you have low hopes for it after the first one.
I know it doesn't have him in it, and it's directed by someone different.
Oh.
And I know that it has Royal Dano, who's in Ghoulies 2, and I love that guy. So I'm looking forward to that. This one was a kind of disappointment. It would have been fun if you were young in the 80s and you rented it, but now it just doesn't hold up. It's just not paced well at all. It's boring. So I don't give this one a recommend at all. And I don't think it was cheap. I think it was like $10 or something, which is, I don't want to pay $10 for a DVD anymore. So, looks good on the shelf, I guess, part of your horror collection.
Mm-hmm.
So here's the one that we just watched together. We watched the new Twilight Time release of The Blob. And this is my first Twilight Time Blu-ray. I've never gotten one before, but I was pretty bummed about the Fright Night release and the Night of the Living Dead and the Christine releases that sold out. I'm a huge Christine fan. Hopefully they'll re-release that one. But I had to get in on The Blob. I love this movie. This was the first time you saw it. What'd you think about it?
I loved it. I've seen the original, and it had enough throwback references to the original, but they really made it their own. With especially the gore level was taken to a whole new level. Like some of those kills, the telephone booth scene was just awesome.
Yeah, she got whooped.
Yeah, I thought it was great.
I really think I kind of told them that this movie is better than it should have been. Number one, it's a remake. Number two, it's 80s with Kevin Dillon and Shawnee Smith. But once again, you have to give credit to Chuck Russell and Frank Darabont, who did Nightmare on Elm Street 3. And we know Frank Darabont has gone on to do some amazing films. And these guys killed it. I mean, this thing is so fun. It sets up the perfect fall feel football game, high school. I mean, it felt like growing up in the 90s, my sister going to football games, having a homecoming parade. Like, you just got this vibe of small town high school. And then, boom, you thrown into the Blob. He's killing everybody in hilarious ways. Our buddy Josh was here with us watching. Some of the ways he killed people seemed to... He didn't understand how he killed the guy in the car, but he got him. He got him. So this Blu-ray looked good. What do you think about the picture?
I thought it looked really good.
We were sitting a little far back for me to give an exact review of the image, but the image looked great. This is my only complaint about it now. I've seen it a bunch of times, but kind of watching it this time, the music wasn't amazing. It was kind of like one dude in a garage on a keyboard playing synthesizer. So love it, love the characters. You guys, I don't know if you're going to grab it or not, but grab the DVD at least. You know, it's one of those movies where I don't know if the Blu-ray is going to make or break the film for you. Check this one out.
What are some of the features on that one?
It's got isolated score track, which, like I said, I didn't love the music, so useless. This was a seller for me. Audio commentary with Chuck Russell and horror authority Ryan Turek. I think that's Ryan Rotten. He's a kind of an online horror guy. And then Friday Night Frights at the Cinefamily. I know the Cinefamily is a theater, I think, in L.A., where they show genre movies and have events like that. And then it's got 2 trailers. So it's not packed, which Twilight Time really, they don't slam pack them with features. I don't think they have a lot of money, but they only made 5,000 copies of it. I love the movie, so I went for it, you know. I don't know that I would do that for just any of them. But yeah, love it. Great Halloween sort of get pumped movie. We're recording this sort of in the afternoon, so I've already watched my movie for the day, so I kind of have a night off now.
Are you going to watch something tonight?
I might, just to maybe have tomorrow night off, but I know a buddy's coming over and he wants to show his girlfriend The Conjuring, so I'm probably going to use The Conjuring as one of our movies. So maybe I'll double up and take Sunday off. I don't know. Quick thing I want to mention, have kind of saved this up. I didn't tell you, but I saw The Guest.
Oh.
And I thought I would do just a quick review for that. Everyone out there, do everything in your power to get to the theater and see this movie.
Was the soundtrack what you wanted it to be?
Amazing. Yes. The soundtrack blew me away. I had even listened to it before I saw the movie and was still just like blown away. It's such a great movie. It's so fun. It's genuinely...
Where's that playing, Ridgeway?
It's in Cordova.
Oh, Cordova.
Yeah, and so we went out there, kind of a little bit of a trek, and saw it. And I got to tell you guys, the characters, the structure, it's great. It's a throwback kind of genre pick. They got it all right. They don't waste time over-explaining a bunch of garbage. And the guy who plays the main character, the guest, he's so good. He's so
Isn't
funny.
that the guy from Downton Abbey, though?
Yeah, he's from Downton Abbey, and he's a British actor. But you could never tell.
He's really slimmed down for that role and really...
He's beefed up,
yeah,
too.
muscled up. Yeah, he doesn't look as soft as he did in Downton Abbey.
The girl in it, I can't think of her name. I want to say Micaiah Monroe or something like that. She's young. She's young, so I don't really know her from anything else. But when I first started watching it, I was like, she kind of talks kind of weird. Kind of like how Anna Paquin talks weird. Mm-hmm. They have a weird voice. And then you kind of start to like that voice, and you kind of start to like that they're different than most Hollywood girls are. Mm-hmm. And that's what happened. Like, by the end, I was completely in love with her. I thought she was awesome. She does such a great job. She has a brother in the movie. He's hilarious and does a great job. But I don't know if the people in the theater were loving it as much as me and my wife, but we were cracking up. It's super violent. It's super like twisted, and it pulls no punches, but at the same time,
it's R, right?
Yeah, it's total R.
Cool.
Yeah, but these guys, they made a great movie. They're the guys that made You're Next, which I didn't see that one, but I want to see it now because this was so good. So definitely recommend going to see The Guest. Everybody out there, get out there and support this movie. I think it's exactly what horror fans, genre fans are looking for. If you enjoyed the soundtrack in Drive, I think you'll enjoy the soundtrack in this. This one's even a little more subdued than that. I would say it's more of like a synth John Carpenter kind of feel. I've heard some other people say that, and it was. So go out and see The Guest. Let us know what you think. Thanks for joining us. I don't know how many weeks do I have left. 2 weeks?
You got a few more films to
I'm
go.
only at like halfway point. What is it, the 16th?
17th.
So about halfway through. I'm kind of surprised I was able to do it this week because we were pretty busy, but next week we'll come back with a boatload more movies to talk about. So thanks for joining us.
All right.